understanding routing, we first need to have some kind of infrastructure in place. To demonstrate this, we'll be using a tool called the Cisco Packet Tracer. This will allow us to create the infrastructure, which in turn will let us learn how to use the Packet Tracer and see the tools that we'll be needing. Now, as you can see, I have the Packet Tracer already open. On the top, we have the menu bar. We have the File, Edit, Options, View Tools. The one that I'm most interested in, it is the Options selection. So I'm going to go ahead to that point, and I'm going to click Options, and then I want to select Preferences. This is the most important one. If you were to see in the Customize User Experience pane, if you scroll down to where it says Always Show Port Labels, you want to make sure that you put a check mark on there. That way, when you're connecting your devices, you will see your port labels. Now, if you go to the Font tab, which is 3 tabs over, and I'm going to click on that now, the pane that you need to pay attention to, especially me, it's the dialog pane where it says CLI. That is what Cisco calls the cache line interface, all right, or the command line interface actually is the acronym, what it's called. I need to put the courier or the font size to 16 so I can see. You can customize the Packet Tracer in whatever way you like in order to make it easier for you to configure as far as when you're looking at the different devices and what have you. But you can explore this at your own leisure and see all the different things that you can do. So let's go ahead and close this. And remember, the interface tab and the font tab, both those tabs is what you want to look at. So let's go ahead and close that. We want to go ahead and take a look at the blue bar, and we see all the different icons that are there. The icons that you're going to be interested in are the one with the white piece of paper with a little twinkle. That's going to be the new file icon. The next one is going to be just to the right of that. It's your open folder, as we've seen in every application. And our little floppy drive, which we don't use no more, is to click Save. So those 3 buttons are important. If you keep going towards the right in that blue bar, you're going to see 3 icons, and really only the 2 magnifying glasses is what you're interested in. Is the magnifying glass with the plus or the magnifying glass with the minus. What is that going to do is increase the size of your devices in your work area, which is the white area in front of you, or decrease the size. So those are the ones that you'll be working with when you're working on the blue bar. Those are the only icons that you require. Now let's change our view all the way to the right, and we're going to see that there's a sidebar. We have a selector tool, which is the very top one, is the rectangle, the dotted rectangle. And then we'll have the hand. Don't worry about the hand. You'll never use the hand. The place note, yes, I'm going to point to it. So I'm going to move my mouse, and I'm going to put it right over that. And it says place note. We are going to be using that because that's how we enter information into the work area. That's how we name our VLANs. That's how we name our routers. That's how we can do many things with the place note, put our IP addresses. Now, the next button just beneath that, and I'm going to point to it, which is the delete button. That is a very dangerous button. If by chance you have an item that's selected already and you accidentally click that button, or you're trying to delete something else, but something else is selected, the moment you click on that, it's going to go ahead and delete whatever item is selected. So be very careful when choosing that. And in this version of the Packet Tracer, if you click, and I'm going to click on it, that X appears, and now your mouse turns into an X. I'm going to get rid of whatever's there. You got to make sure to then reselect, move my mouse back to that select tool. You got to make sure you do that, or that X is always going to be there. Now, towards the bottom of that sidebar, we have 2 envelopes, which are one's a simple PDU, one's a complex PDU, but we'll discuss about those in greater detail later on when we get into actually we design already an infrastructure. Now, if you look at the bottom of the Packet Tracer, and I'm going to move my mouse towards that, okay? And I'm going to point to the very first button there. That's a lightning bolt. Now, that lightning bolt is cheating. That's going to put the connections in there for you. All right? You don't want to go ahead and do that. You want to select your own connections because you want to learn the cable types. Now, I'm going to move my mouse over to the type of connection that you probably will be using most of, which is a copper straight through. And if you notice, once you select or hover over one of the buttons, it's going to tell you, hey, this is a copper straight through. Okay. And then if you hover over the next one, that is a copper crossover. So remember, straight throughs, switch to PC, switch to router, switch to switch is the copper crossover, PC to PC is the crossover. So keep that in mind. The last cables that you're going to use, if you look at the same bar that we're in, and I'm going to point to it, it is your serial DCE cables. The one that you're mostly going to use is that ray cable right there with the clock. When we start actually creating the lab, you're going to see how that cable is going to work. All right, you'll never select the one without the clock. You'll always select the one with the clock. Now we've seen the connection types. Now we're going to look at the actual connections. On the very top, you have the router, the switch, a hub, a wireless device, and that orange lightning bolt. Well, that orange lightning bolt is actually what you need to click on to get to your connection types. If you just wanted to select an actual device or internetworking device from the top, just click on it and then click on the work area, which will, in the next session, we'll go ahead and create that. And at the bottom of this same connection types, if I move my mouse over it, I see my end devices. I'm going to click on it so you can see, get a picture of what they are. And there you see your generic computer, you have a generic laptop, you have different types of devices that we can click and click on the work area or click and drag into a work area so we can go ahead and use them in the packet tracer. In the new packet tracer, we do have a firewall, which you'll see it in red. Is the only thing in red there. It's pretty cool. It's a Cisco. I'm going to click on it. 5505 firewall. And then the next one over is a cloud. If you want to simulate frame relay, you can go ahead and select one of these clouds and create a frame relay network using this. So this, in its entirety, is the packet tracer. One rule, though, don't forget to save your files. Always save your files. Very important. People forget to do that. So in the next section, we're going to go ahead and actually create the infrastructure that we're going to be using in the lab.